Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today I have some jokes that are related to school. The first joke was told to me by my friend, and you may have heard this before. The teacher said to little Johnny, "Give me 2 pronouns." And little Johnny said, "Who? Me?" Because who and me are pronouns. Next is a few jokes that was told to me by my nephew. Now, one of the lessons that we have in school is called math, M-A-T-H. And what does math stand for? Well, according to my nephew and his friends, it stands for mental abuse to humans. That's quite funny, right? There was this bunch of kids in the school and they were playing soccer. The teacher said, "Come on, let's go to the field. It's time to play soccer." And then one of the kids, he started to take his shoes off. And the teacher said, "Why are you taking off your shoes?" And the kid said, "Well, sir, you said we're going to play soccer. So I thought I'd just have to have my socks on." This reminds me of a funny story, a true story that happened when I was in school. I think we were about 13. And then Chinese lesson was right after English lesson. And when the Chinese teacher came into the class, there was just one word left on the blackboard that had not been erased. And it said infinitesimal. And so we thought nothing of it. And the Chinese teacher came in, she greeted us, and she was about to clean off the blackboard. But then she stopped and she looked at this word, and with the duster in her hand, and she looked at us in the class and she said, "这是什么字?" Like, what is this word? And we said infinitesimal. And she said, 什么意思? What does it mean? And we said 很小, which just means very small. And she looked very perplexed and she looked at the word again. Then she asked us, 为什么这样长? Which means, why is the word so long? And I thought that was hilarious because it's a very long word that means very small. Let's continue this theme of learning. And let me tell you why I rock climb. The short answer is, because it scares me. Yeah, back in July 2024, I was in the middle of the Introduction Leaders program with Landmark. It's a high-impact leadership program all about personal transformation and breakthrough performance in career, relationships, well-being, any area of life. So I was in a phase that I call taking unfamiliar actions to go beyond boundaries, which sounds inspiring until life actually gives you unfamiliar actions to take. So one evening after dinner, a friend casually said to me, "I'm going rock climbing tomorrow, want to come?" Now, the usual me would have replied instantly, no, I'm not athletic, I'm not sporty, I'm not good at these things, I'm afraid of heights, I've never done it before, it looks fun, but I'm definitely not cut out for it. But that night, something different came out of my mouth. I said, "Yes!" So the next day, I showed up at the indoor climbing gym. I got my safety briefing, I put on the harness, I started climbing. And yeah, it was scary. And I was sweating more from the adrenaline than from the actual effort. But something interesting happened while I was on the wall. Because I was so focused on the experience, I started noticing exactly what was scaring me. Climbing up, surprisingly doable. Being high above the ground, scary but manageable. The part that terrified me the most was this one moment when I had to take both my hands off the wall, hold the rope, and trust the auto belay system to catch me and bring me down. That's the moment of letting go. And that was seriously the most scary bit. But once I identified that, I decided I will practice it over and over. Not to become a better climber, but to become someone who can, number 1, feel my fear fully, and number 2, still take the next action anyway, and number 3, trust systems and trust myself. Why? Because life is full of scary situations that scare us. Uncertainty is scary. Unfamiliar situations are scary. Conversations that matter are scary. I wanted to grow into someone who doesn't freeze in fear, but someone who can act even when afraid. And so a few months later, climbing gave me an unexpected gift. I had a difficult conversation scheduled one afternoon, and I was dreading the conversation, and my legs felt wobbly just thinking about it. Then I had this brilliant idea. Climbing scares me more than that conversation. So I went climbing in the morning. By the time I came down from the wall, the conversation no longer was the scariest thing I had to do that day. Climbing had already stretched my fear threshold, and everything else felt smaller, manageable, very doable. So that's why I climb. Not to be sporty, not to be good at it, but because every time I climb, I know I'm going beyond my limits. And that makes me feel accomplished and grounded and powerful. And that wraps up our jokes about schools. And all of us know what schools are because all of us have been there, or some of us are still in school now. But did you know what school actually stands for? SCHOOL. I'll tell you a secret. So, according to my nephew and his friends, school stands for 6 cruel hours of our lives.